Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the June Refinar on interactive decision making. My name is Jason Foster, and joining me today delivering the presentations, Andrea Santamaria and Roy Gingell. Lee Drew also helped with the decision making as well. Whether he joins us at some stage during the Refinar remains to be seen. He wasn't on this morning, but he certainly put in an input into the rationale and explanations that we'll be discussing later. So thank you very much for joining on what is the hottest day of the year in England and Wales. So we're very hot and bothered, but it's not to put us off. We're going to have a bit of fun today. These 15 decisions for us to look at. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you enjoy it. In the chat, I'll put a little bit of housekeeping for you just before we start, Andrea. We've put you on mute. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. And also, as most of you have, please consider switching off your camera, as that might help. It is being recorded and it will be made available on the WSO site later. Depends which one's better, the morning one we did this morning or this one now. So the pressure's on. Then there's a bit of info as to whether you're going to have access or be able to view the videos. Some people log in, log out and log back in. Some people are having better luck either watching on their phone or their laptop. So please try. We're trying our very best. We've tried so many different ways of trying to overcome this so that you have a better experience. But yes, we have 15 clips today. Once the clip's been played, we'll probably play it again, so you get to look at it twice. And then a poll will be generated by Andrea for you to make a decision, put in a vote. Now, some this morning the poll didn't work, so if you are happy to put your decision in the chat, that would be great. And then you're part of the fun as well. We will then discuss the decision and then provide the preferred decision before we move on to the next clip. So, next slide, please. Which might well be the first clip. It is the US Open match between Tesni Murphy and Nouran Gohar.
Yeah, in there somewhere. The most underrated and underutilized shot in the game.
Oh, yeah. Big contact.
So we're going to watch that clip again. We have the referee of the match on the call, Tama Al-Nagari. Tama, if you're able to unmute, Tama, are you able, once the vote has been made, to provide your line of thinking on what you saw there? So let's do the vote first. The vote should be on your screen now. If not, enter it into the chat. If you cannot see anything, you might need to log back out and log back in again. So the response I've had so far is that 100% of you say it's a stroke. Thanks, Nat. Got that one. Tama, are you able to unmute, Tama? And let's hear from Tama on that one. Oh, I can't unmute. Okay, Tama can't.
I'm unmuting him. Give me a minute. Give me a
All
minute.
right.
Technical
difficulties here.
No, it's just yeah. Here we go, Tom.
Tama, can you hear us? Can you speak? No, still no joy. Okay then. So
have a go now. You should be able to.
No, okay. Well, it's a pretty obvious one, as in the swing was prevented by Nouran Gohar, which means that the decision is that it was a stroke to Tesni Murphy. So a nice, easy one to start off with, but a very good example of the backswing being prevented and the ball diverting off and it being a stroke to her. Sorry, Tama. try next time. The next clip is between Diego Elias and Bernat Jaume at the Singapore Open 2024.
It's an opportunity, that. It's a wonderful boast he used.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we wait for the next slide to come up to ask you to make a vote. You can vote when the poll comes up or enter your decision in the chat. So the majority of you, 40%, have gone for a stroke, 50% a yes let, and some has gone, or one person's gone for a no let. We had the referee on the call this morning. Ashraf was the referee, and initially he did call a yes let, but it went to video review, of which it was overruled to a stroke. And that is the agreed decision because the ball was a loose shot. Jaume hasn't cleared in time for when Elias wants to play the ball. Now, Elias is guilty of, and which quite a lot of players are of just looking lazy. You know, it's a lazy ask, and you just want them to show a bit more effort or intent to play the ball. So in a way that affects your sort of decision-making process. But just looking at the ball coming to the middle of the court, and certainly the follow-through would have got Jaume. And yes, it was that was the decision that it was a stroke. So let's move on to the next clip. This is the TOC, Amami versus Shabini.
It's a few months off, and it's the wrong sport, but you know, dress for the position you want, Joey. So Chris Gordon's gut is telling him, Amami. I rarely agree with Chris Gordon, but I might here just having a kind of look at how El Shabini played and.
So please vote now when the poll comes up on the screen, or put it in the chat. Okay, so we have 50% for a yes let, 30% no let, and 20% stroke. So initially, I mean, I was the match referee. Initially, I gave a yes let, but the panel decided that it was a no let because they felt that it was minimal, and that by the time Hamami had reached the ball was already on the second bounce. But when we got some view from Lee Drew, he decided that it was a yes let because of the hip check, not intentional from Shabini. I'm not sure if we're able to play that clip again, Andrea. But if you watch the interference, which is the hip check from the Shabini, is sufficiently knocked Hamami off balance, and he deemed that was sufficient enough to justify being a yes let. So before we move on to the next clip, hopefully you'll notice the hip check there. But again, we're trying to simplify things nowadays with the three variables. So the two players and the ball. So the incoming player, the outgoing player, and the ball. And quite often when we're refereeing, we focus on one thing. We are now, we're now working at a high level now, and we need to broaden our view and be watching all three. I know it's very difficult to do, but it's something that you need to start trying to introduce into your game as a referee. Look at the three, and then hopefully they will help you make the decision. I'll expand on that a bit later, but let's go on to the next clip. Orphy versus Adderley in Singapore.
She's barely hit a ball into the front in this game, really. She just hasn't been really in a position to be able to do that. Been digging balls out of the back corner, or defending.
It's good touch. Oh, it's good touch. I mean, the shot itself is a very, very good shot. Obviously, going to be looking at the movement from what the referee feels. I mean, I don't really think she's done anything wrong there, personally. The shot quality is really good, and what it's done is if we see where on previous stat, Georgia Adderley is literally right behind the back of the service box because of being pushed so far back. So as soon as Orphy takes the ball short off of that post.
Okay, so we got to see that clip at different angles, so we're not going to play it again, as some of you have already put your decisions in the chat. So the poll is now available for you to make your decision. Roy, I was going to ask you to come in and provide your rationale and line of thinking for that decision.
Pretty simple for me. Obviously there was minimal, sort of no interference, you know, and it was a good shot from Amina Orphy. No movement issues, good ball. So, you know, comfortable no let for me.
Thank you. With the responses on the poll, 100% of you agreed that it was a no let. And what has been interesting is the theme throughout these clips is quite often some of the referees have gone to the video referee for decision. Tama, you had your hand up, but it's now disappeared. Is that, do you still wish to say something? Okay, nothing there. Let's move on to the next clip, please. This is the Texas Open between Ibrahim and Abul Makarim.
Yeah, and I think the attention to detail that you're alluding to there has been increased in terms of improvement, more so by Ibrahim, and that's why we're seeing this scoreline.
So we have the poll that's about to be shared now. I'm not sure if Dave Fishburne's on the call, but Dave was the referee there. If there's a possibility, if he wanted to talk about what he was thinking at the time or what his thoughts were before we discuss it further. Dave is on the call. Are we able to unmute him, Roy? Are you trying that? Oh, 80% of you have gone for a no let. Was that you, Dave?
Should be a Dave.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Dave. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was her cross court movement. I thought there was a little. I didn't think she quite got out of the way in time, and then of course in replay it was obvious that she did.
Yeah, I mean, what we're discovering at this level now is these players are good enough to play the ball. You know, I think we can be guilty of being a bit generous at times, and I've done it myself. Done it last season. There's been a few examples where I've given a generous stroke there, but these players can play the ball, yeah. Well, I think we just need to encourage them to do so and not not give them the points. You know, they're looking at us to win them the points at times. So let's not make it too easy for them. Next clip, please. This is, thanks, Dave. Is the British Open between Satomi Watanabe versus Siva Subramanian. And Roy was the referee, so Roy's going to talk us through this.
Really tough rallies in this phase of the fourth game.
No let.
Ooh.
Sorry?
Oh, we're watching it again, Roy. You got to go through it again.
I haven't said anything yet, Jess. I'm running the vote, mate. Let's see what the poll says.
Well, people already voting in the chat, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah, so
We do the vote first.
you people.
So the majority in the chat has been no let, I've noticed so far. And of the 10 responses in the poll, 70% have gone for no let and 30% have gone for a yes let. So interesting. Roy.
Interesting. My rationale on that. Obviously, there was a bit of distance to the ball, and I saw Watanabe just going straight into the back of Subramanian. But when you watch it from the sky view, from this view, there was definitely a little bit more life in the ball than I, as the match referee, originally thought, and therefore Watanabe probably could have made a good return. Obviously, Siva was attempting to clear. So the panel thought that the correct decision there, the fair decision there, was a yes let.
Thanks, Roy. I was the video ref for that match, and Watanabe didn't review it. But if she had, I would have gone for a yes let based on what Roy described there. So thank you, Roy. Moving on to the next clip, which is Singapore between Paul Cole and Yusuf Ibrahim.
Some good retrieval there from the Kiwi. Somehow managed to survive 3 attacks.
We've got a video decision, so this has gone straight from the referee to the VR.
Well, again, he's wanting the referee to look at that movement there from Cole. As he hits it, just moves across slightly, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does go into the line there. I mean, it's a dreadful width. But he moves into the line. He's got penalised for the movement, so the...
We watched this a few times. It's gone to the video referee. Roy, are you happy to talk us through this one as well, please?
Yeah, I'm just trying to admit a few refs that are coming in, no problem.
Let's get some votes first. People are voting in the chat already. Let's do the poll. Quite a lot of strokes mentioned in the chat. The yes let from Anna. The poll shows that 67% of you went for a stroke and 33% of you went for a yes let. Thank you, Roy.
Yeah, interesting decision. Yeah, a little bit more as the wording says there. Call prevents access, actually moves into the line a little bit of Ibrahim. Some life in the ball, but interestingly, does Ibrahim know exactly where the ball's going? Because it does look as if he charges into Paul Cole, but the line the line is through him. So because there's life in the ball and Cole's movement is not the best, then the decision here needs to be a stroke.
Thanks, Roy. Andrea, are you able to play that clip again for us so that the viewers can see what Roy's described? Obviously, Paul Cole's doing a lot of work here, retrieving. And it's that movement across to the tee there. No need for him to do that.
I think a good thing to point out as well there, Jason, is what Ashraf pointed out this morning, that actually Ibrahim being a left-handed player, that is, you know, it would need to go across through him to prepare his swing, which obviously he can't because he's left-handed.
Yeah, good point, Andrea. Yeah, that was a good point that Ashraf made this morning. So moving on to the next clip, which is clip 8, the British Open, Olivia Weaver versus Zina Makari. It's a quick clip.
You're asking for a decision? No let. Player review, Weaver.
Okay, let's go to the poll. What is your decision? What would you give there? So some interesting decisions in the chat. It's a sort of a varied decisions there. So the responses we had on the poll: no let 50%, and it's shared 25% between a yes let and a stroke. There was a right mishmash of comments, decisions in the chat. But yes, Weaver went the wrong way initially, and it was felt that she wouldn't have recovered in time to have got the ball. So the decision was that it was a no let. A good example of a no let with someone going the wrong way and not being able to recover in time. Okay, let's move on to the next clip. Clip 9, squash in the land in Cleveland, Tarek Momen versus Marwan El Shabagi.
Shabagi just needed that point to just halt the onslaught from the Egyptian.
His counter drops all week have been really, really top drawer. Marwan El Shabagi. He's won a lot of points from the counter drop. Oh, he's stranded again.
Video referee decision.
I feel like he creates his own interference here, Momen. He's just stuck in a position in the court he doesn't really want to be in.
Yeah, but I think with the amount of conversation we're having, Lisa, I think this is a good move by Daniel Greco, throwing this to the video referee just to really get a look at it and make sure we get this one right. Not sure where Shabagi really should have gone there. It's one of those where Moments played the ball sort of at his feet and in a no man's land behind the back of the service box. Well, there you go. They've just deemed that Shabagi's moved into the line of Tarek Momen.
That you had a movement.
People putting decisions already in the chat, so thank you for that. Interesting. Okay, so the poll now. Cast your decision, please. So 67% have gone for a stroke, 33% have gone for a no let, but I've noticed there's lots of no lets and yes lets. So just to give you a bit of background, I was the video ref for that match. and I went for a stroke because for me, when you're looking at the three variables, the players and the ball, for me, Marwan steps back into the line of Moman, preventing him access to the ball. And that was why. Oh, Daniel is here. I didn't realise you were here. Daniel, sorry. Are you able to unmute Daniel so we can?
Yeah, give me a minute. No one.
Sorry, Daniel. I didn't think you were here. I was looking for your message.
Yeah, if he unmutes himself now, he should be able to do it.
Can you hear me?
Go for it.
Yeah, Daniel, you're on.
Yeah, so original on this match, I felt that the way he was moving in front of Tarek, he was his momentum was coming back, and that's why he took that step back originally. That's what I felt, and of course I saw Moment kind of looking desperately for the ball, but either way, if he did it on purpose or not, he stepped onto his opponent's line, so I completely agree with the stroke.
So thanks, Daniel. So we're moving on to the next clip, clip number 10. This is the Texas Open, Nathan Lake versus Timothy Brownell.
Just last month in Birmingham. Big, huge team, actually. I was going to say big, but absolutely huge team for the US. Lots of English coaches with them.
Yeah, ball wasn't tight enough. 4-love, right box.
So vote now what you think the decision is. I know a few of you have already put stuff in the chat. It's a really difficult decision. We're getting decisions across the board. A stroke, 38% on the poll, 50% no let, and only 13% for a yes let.
So trying to keep it as per the rationale of the three variables. Yes, the ball is very short, right? But Lake does move to the opponent, and the opponent doesn't quite clear. So we think Lake can get the ball. So basically the rationale is a yes let based on that narrative. Yeah, ball very short but gettable, close to a no let. Lake looking for his opponent not clearing quite enough. 100% we did not believe this was a stroke. Yes,
Thanks,
let,
Roy.
possibly
Thanks,
no let.
Okay, this match is refereed by Daniel. So once we've watched this clip a few times and you've voted, we'll ask Daniel to be unmuted to make his comments.
Yes, let.
Ooh.
Okay, let's do the vote for the poll. Thanks, Andrea. Cast your vote. I know many of you have already done in the chat. And if you're able to unmute Daniel, we can listen to how the match was for him.
I have, he should be able to unmute himself.
Any joy, Daniel? Can't unmute.
Right now, Daniel, you're good to go, mate. People pressing it same time as me.
Yes, now it's working. It's working now. So in this one, I was considering, of course, the reputation from these two players. I was really paying attention to their movements, and I was seeing the Suki just moving closely and closely to Asal. So I was really paying attention to that, and of course, paying attention to that, I missed the quality of the shot. And of course, Asal just moved into the Suki when the ball turned out to be on the right. So he clearly moved into his opponent, and he was not able to get that ball. It was a winning shot, so I'm okay with the no let in this circumstance.
Good.
Right.
Good explanation.
Great, Daniel. Thank you. Excellent explanation. Yeah, again, it's looking at all three, the two players and the ball. And sometimes, as you say, we get caught up with watching one and not the other. And it's also fair to say, you know, we're looking at 15 clips here and we're looking at them in isolation. As you know, every match tells a story from the very beginning all the way through. You get a feel for the match. And sometimes the decisions you make are given as to how the match has played out at that time. So, you know, we're not being critical here by raising these, because we do appreciate that in isolation, when we just look at one clip, it's not really a true snapshot of the whole of the match. So it's great that we're taking part on this. And yeah, it's easy sitting here in front of a laptop with the sun shining, and there's no pressure. There's no pressure, so it's easy. But this is all good learning for us. So thanks, Daniel, for sharing. Right, next clip, please. This is Singapore last year between Mossad and Orr. Okay, thank you, Andrea. Let's go to the voting. Go to the poll. Roy, I was going to ask you to talk through the rationale for this, please.
Yeah, so basically on this clip, again, two players in the ball, watch how, but watch Mossad. Just have a look again when you show it again. He needs to drop off, but actually he takes out space. You know, someone put it in an earlier clip, actually. The words which we've come to hear recently, this step-up block. We didn't think it was like major deliberately, but he tried to get out to just go around a little bit further than he needed to. And he just needed, like we said, to drop off based in his position. Has to provide access, and I would have been able to make a good return. So the decision is yes, let.
Thanks, Roy. Okay, moving on to the next clip. This is a really good clip, really interesting. It's at TOC, Farag versus Mohammed El Shabagi. Daniel was the referee, so I'm really looking forward to Daniel opening it up once you've had a view of the clip. Thank you.
That decision of the stroke against for his movement.
And also just see how important that partnership with Nick Matthew is on all these big points. Sherbagi's looking back at Nick Matthew and fist pumping it, but making eye contact.
Better use of height under pressure there. Farag under the cosh again.
No let. Player review Farag on the no let decision.
It looked as though the line that Ali Farag takes here, Chris, should have been to the left of El Shabagi. On that angle there, it looks like a definite no let. But the ball is to the left of Farag, to the left of El Shabagi, and Farag's gone more into the man, not the ball.
Yeah, for me, this is just going to come down to the shot quality of Mohammed El Shabagi. Is it retrievable in any way?
Oh my goodness.
It's a tough one. Okay, going to the poll and then we'll listen to Daniel. But thanks to those of you who already entered your decision in the chat.
Okay.
Daniel,
So on
you're
this one, I saw the ball pretty short, more to the left, and I saw Farag not really knowing much about it and just going for the back of his opponent. That's why I called it no let. But then after you see Mohamed moving the way he cleared, and considering all the variables, I think this makes more sense as a yes let.
Yeah, it's a tough call. When we discussed it ourselves, we couldn't decide either. We had a stroke in there, we had a yes let. But yeah, I can totally understand the no let because the ball does look like it's just bounced very short. And then Farag, why has he gone in at that angle? So yeah, after discussion, a lot of heated debate, we felt that the yes let was the fair outcome to that decision, but a really tough and difficult call. Who was your VR for that, Daniel?
I don't really remember.
Okay. Oh, it was Tamer. Well done, Tamer. It was a tough decision.
No, he has a question, he says.
Okay, so let's move on to the 14th clip, the penultimate clip between Mustafa Assal and Yusuf Ibrahim at the British Open last week.
Ball is starting to soften up nicely. That's another great shot. It was a stroke.
Ball came back at you. It actually bounced. Okay. Player review, Ibrahim, on a stroke decision. Can we have a court service, please?
Okay, I know, Tammy, you had a question on the last one, but let us complete this one and then we'll move on to you. Sorry we missed you. So make your decision on this one, please. I'm going to ask you, Roy, to talk about this one because you were the video ref. The poll suggests, we've only had 7 responses, but the poll suggests that 43% went for a no let. Oh no, it's gone down. No let and yes let are equal, with the stroke being 25%. Over to you, Roy.
Yeah, so in this one, obviously, mine and the referee's rationale is there was life in the ball. It's one step for Sal to get that ball, and he would have hit it, and the opponent was in the way. That's the rationale that we gave for the stroke. When we obviously further interrogated, then there is a little bit of distance to the ball. Other people thought that Assal was moving to the player, and possibly there was a line in front. Obviously, myself and the match referee, we didn't see that. Ibrahim is still in the way, right? Is there enough space for Assal to get through? Stroke seems a little bit harsh for some people, but obviously, and he's moving into the player in some of the sort of rationale. But people thought that the best outcome for this particular decision is a yes let.
Thank you for that, Roy. Okay, Tamer, is there a way of unmuting Tamer so that Tamer can?
Yeah, don't do anything with your Don't do anything with the buttons. Bear with me. Right, if you unmute yourself, Tom, you should be able to hear you, mate.
Tamer, are you there? Can you have you left? Oh, he's gone on mute again.
Yeah.
Okay. Whilst we're battling to try and hear Tamer, let's play the last clip between Victor Kruan and Yao at Singapore last year.
He's not in any rush to start this rally, is he?
Well, he's trying to get his head in gear, isn't he, now? This is a massive part of the match. He's got to keep his focus.
Video referee decision.
Yeah, that was a little bit theatrical there from Yao. a little bit desperate. He's trying to get out the court. It's amazing how Kruan can smile in this situation, but you know, for me, he's tracked Kruan a bit there. He's going the wrong way initially, and he's tracked Kruan. I would not be given a stroke in this situation. Not convinced by it personally. He's gone the wrong way. He's stopped his movement, and then he's gone into Kruan. He's got to go up and around the shoulder of Kruan. So let ball.
So some of you already posted your decisions in the chat. Thank you. So the voting is open on the poll. And what has become a common theme throughout these clips is there's been quite a few video referee referrals. And at 10-9 in that game, it was probably a good decision to do so. So yeah, it's initially Yao has gone the wrong way. He's recovered. He's then wrapped his arms around Kruan. Kruan hasn't quite hit his target. Yao's thrown in a big yelp to try and influence us as well. And you know, looking at the three variables, we decided for a yes let as the fair outcome. Yao's initially gone the wrong way. The ball is reachable. Kruan hasn't quite hit his target. But Yao's a bit late on the ball. We definitely did not see that as a stroke. So that was the rationale on that one. So that is all the clips. Just to summarise, what we've tried to mention or say is to keep it simple. It's a lot easier said than done. But remember the three variables. That is coming into our line of thinking more and more now, looking at the two players and the ball. What are they doing? Open your periphery vision to watch what's going on, because sometimes it's easy to get trapped into watching the ball. So it's important to watch the movement as well, because these players, some of their movements are not great, and we need to be alert and ready for this. And then the last point, which is a really good point, you may well have made the right decision, but if your explanation doesn't match the decision, then you run the risk of losing your players as well. So it's really important to back up your decision with the right explanation. And again, sometimes that is the base of the three variables. So the quality of the shot, you could say it was a winning shot. Or if the movement of the player, you move towards your opponent, that can provide a basis of your explanation. But that takes practice. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of practicing those sayings. Before I wrap up, Roy, is there anything in the chat that's worth that hasn't been answered? Any questions in there?
No, not really. Would be interesting to your referees apply the same rationale to the slower pace games of amateurs, and I think the same principles would apply the ball and the two players really. So you know that's in the rules. It's always been in the rules. Access, you know, clearing the ball, effort to go and make the ball on the ball has always been in the rules. So that rationale needs to be applied at all levels, to be fair, and should be, to be honest. So it's but interesting concept, you know, relevant for the players who are excellent movers, relevant for those of us that are not so good movers at the amateur level as well.
Thank you. And Andrea, is there anything you wish to add to this today? Andrea's been running the slides as she's prepared the PowerPoint and done the polls, so she's been juggling. So Andrea, is there anything you wish to add?
Just that, as you could see from those last three clips, that we did think would create the most talking and the most variety in decisions, and I think you can see that with the decisions being very close. So, and I think also how subjective it is. So, you know, there might be occasions where all three decisions might be applicable, or two of them out of the three, but as long as you back the decision up with a good explanation underpinned by the rules, then I think that's, you know, you've got a good argument there. So it's not always easy to come to the correct or the preferred decision, but as long as you back it up with explanation and rationale, then that's fine. Also, it is very subjective, and as we found out when we were trying to get a preferred decision, you know, there's four of us. Sometimes it'd be 3 and a 1, sometimes it'd be a 2 and a 2. So that's just how difficult it is sometimes, you know. So I think just having a rationale to back up your explanation, that is fine. What you can't do is just guess. You know, when we start guessing, that's when we're going to get ourselves into trouble. Hope you've enjoyed the Refinar. It's great that everybody gets engaged, and we're just here to make it fun and to learn, all of us. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. Thanks for all the work you've done for this, and Roy, appreciate it, and Lee Drew. So thank you to all of you for joining today. That concludes the Refinar. Have a good break from the season and look forward to seeing you very soon. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.